This is Bob, and apparently the guy that was shot was Armad at that body shop, and he details cars.
I believe he's the owner of the sales cars. He was saying the guy over there.
Okay.
He sells cars.
Okay. Yeah, Pete Simpson's in that truck, and when he's done getting briefed, he'll probably come down here and brief us. So he used to detail your car?
Yeah, I used to take my car when I had a two-door sedan. It was just like a little before, back when I was a bachelor. Yeah, I used to take it and get it detailed. But I recognized him. The guy I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But I recognized him. It looked like he was maybe going into his car, his van. See, it looked like it maybe happened right in the middle.
Yeah.
Two vans. He got shot in the head.
Music sells bars, clips, one box, their cheese thing, springs in there. Oh, Pat Dorsey's the last one.
Oh,
Yeah, like right here, keep the butterfly.
oh yeah. Okay.
These are
I wonder if it was a car sale gone bad.
What's that?
I wonder if it was a car sale gone bad.
Yeah, it could
Sold
be,
the wrong person the wrong car.
never know.
Oh, did he say there was another one at Dawson Park too?
Oh, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of shootings lately. There's Pete Simpson right there.
He's gonna do it, man. He's looking nice to my wife if they know who he is, because my wife's coworker pretty much knows everybody in the neighborhood.
Right. Here comes Goebbels.
Oh, perfect. Lachey? Thank you.
Just put it in.
Is that on?
Yeah.
Love you. Come around in the sun for you if that's okay. The sunlight, we're not going to be yelling very much on you. Hopefully that's not too directly. So I got to stare at this.
Yeah, you're in this one.
It's called good lighting.
You have your sunscreen? Baby.
All right.
Everybody good? Good?
Oh yeah, man.
Everybody?
All day.
At 9:58 this morning, North Precinct officers responded to the report of a shooting at the shop here at Rosa Parks and Albina.
Officers, medical personnel got here, and there were some passerbys that were tending to the victim who was suffering from a gunshot wound. They were applying medical aid. Medical personnel arrived, were able to take the victim to the hospital. His injuries are described as life-threatening. So based on that information, homicide detectives have responded to pick up the investigation. There's very limited suspect information at this point. Initial information indicates the suspect was a black male in his 20s, smaller, thin build, and then he ran west on Rosa Parks and then turned north on Mississippi. No reason to believe that person has remained in the area, and the clothing description was pretty generic, dark clothes, gray or black. At this point, we do have the intersection blocked off. We expect it to be closed for a few hours as investigators process the scene and try to track down witnesses. Once that clears up, we'll have hopefully some more information later today on the victim's condition and any investigative updates we can share. Questions?
Any reason to think it's gang related?
Sorry, was that?
Any reason to think it's gang related?
Motive's unclear at this point. Investigators will look at, the victim and try to determine who that person is and what the relationship is to this business or the intersection. Gang enforcement teams pretty generally contacted in shooting cases to determine if they have any input. So at this point, though, there's not enough information to know what the motivation is or what the relationship is between the victim and suspect.
This wasn't in the park.
Sorry, what?
In the parking lot?
Yes, the shooting occurred in the parking lot of the Ward's Body Shop, and there's people working there today, so investigators will be talking to them.
Is it an employee or anyone affiliated with the body shop?
I don't know yet. Yeah, that's one of the things they're going to look into.
Is the person shot in the head? That's what somebody posted on social media, but I wasn't sure.
At this point, investigators don't want to release the specific injuries until they know more about his condition, and certainly talking with family and stuff, they want to be able to relay those kinds of details to family before we do anything else.
My understanding is that he was in charge of selling cars at that body shop.
I don't know that they've confirmed what his relationship is.
Yeah,
I mean, that'll be one of the things that they'll do is in any case you want to know why the victim is at the particular location, and then does it have anything to do with the business? So it's a little early to get into those details.
Yeah, I've already got his name.
Okay.
So I'm not going to put his name out.
Yeah,
but
again, we have preliminary information that we want to flesh out, as we do in many cases. And we're always concerned about how families are notified about their loved ones being injured or killed when it's appropriate. So.
Do you know what hospital he was taken to?
I don't. It would either be Emmanuel or OHSU.
And did police recover a firearm?
No, my understanding is we have not recovered any firearms.
Is your belief that this person is still armed? Suspect?
It's hard to say. Some people get rid of firearms after they commit a crime. Other people retain them. I mean, certainly our approach would be, if we knew who the suspect was, we would presume them to be armed after a shooting. But at this point, we don't know enough about that person. Based on witnesses in the area describing him running out of the area, we don't have any reason to believe he would have remained in the neighborhood. We were in contact with schools in the area to make sure they were aware. There was no reason to lock out or lock down schools based on what we knew.
Is the victim able to communicate on
I don't know if he was able to communicate. His condition at the scene was described as life-threatening. So oftentimes when that happens, they're not communicating.
If he was indeed shot in the head, much more threatening that is shot elsewhere?
Well, I mean, certainly if it is a head injury or body, chest injury, those are the ones that are certainly more obviously concerning because of the vital organs that exist there. But we're not medical professionals. We can assess very quickly and get people to the medical professionals, and that's what we try to do. The folks that stop by to help him certainly were part of that process. They help.
Did people actually witness the shooting? Witnesses that saw it happen?
I don't know if they actually saw it or just heard it. But it's it's a nice day. People are out and about, so we are talking to some folks. Unknown if it's gang related. There's nothing at this point to tell us what is the reason. Gang enforcement did respond, which is pretty normal, to at least help out preliminarily. They're shifting off to other duties now.
Any security footage or anything like that you have to work with?
Don't know yet. That'll be one of the things that investigators will do is they'll look for any video cameras in the area. Certainly we like to remind people that live in the area of something like this, if they do have their own home surveillance, to take a look at it. That's becoming more and more common, and that can be helpful.
Do you know if any alerts went out to the neighborhood or other businesses?
The only communication was with some area schools to make sure. They were asking about should they lock down, and they were told that no, based on their information, there's no risk to the school itself.
I saw K9s out searching just in case the suspect had been in the area still.
Yeah, canines, if they're working, will often be requested to respond and see if they can pick up a scent. My understanding is they did respond, and there was nothing viable for them to do. Anything else?
Did the canines do an article search?
I don't know what they did, but they were out here and they did do some checking. What they did specifically, I don't know.
Okay.
While you're here, do you have any update on the late-low early morning robbery 3 nights ago?
The robbery occurred after about 2:30 in the morning, right about closing time. Not really any updates. It was 3 males. There were 3 people in the bar. Fortunately, nobody was injured. The robbery detectives will be looking at that case and working to determine is there good follow-up that can be done. Is there any evidence or information that might help identify those suspects?
So, Pete, how many shootings have they had in the city of Portland this year so far?
I don't know the total number of shootings. I know homicides, which aren't all shootings, and this isn't yet a homicide, is somewhere around 22 or 23, which is fairly consistent with the last few years. Shootings overall, I don't know the number of that. I know we're looking at bringing a lot of different investigators together just on overall shootings to try to make some sense of them and how to better solve cases, as well as link cases together when it's appropriate. And every case is different. We come at it with the idea of we need to gather all the facts, interview all the witnesses, collect all the evidence, and then see where that takes investigators. Anything else?
When can we expect another update?
I'll send out what I've said or additional info here in the next hour, and then after that, I just don't know. Probably the next update would be any change in the status of the victims and open the road. But I would expect this area to be closed for at least a couple of hours. So for folks in the area, just be patient.
What's the medical examiner doing here?
I don't know. I guess I'll find out. There's nobody here. There's nobody at the scene here for the medical examiner, so that may be unrelated to this event. I'm not sure. We'll see. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
I just spoke to my wife, and I think she knows her coworker.
Yeah.
I think may know who the person is.
Okay.
But she left. She left work, so that's not a good sign.
No.
That's every time.
Well, that tells you the victim's condition. Because medical examiner will come out and take pictures of the area too.
So it usually means he didn't make it. They're taking pictures between the bands.
Yeah. And that's not the vehicle that they transport, that's the vehicle that they investigate. So